What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, and tonight I am joined by the Michael Darcy from KC Sports Report to break down the Kansas City Chiefs 38-35 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 to become your 2023 Super Bowl champions. Michael Darcy, how are you doing tonight? Oh, wait, that's right. You're doing good because the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes is greatness. The Kansas City Chiefs have climbed to the top of the mountain and have firmly planted their flag, as Mitch Holthus would say, on top of football's highest summit. The Kansas City Chiefs have won their second Super Bowl in the last 5 seasons, almost starting a dynastic kind of run. And Patrick Mahomes, on one freaking ankle, just cemented his case for being a top 10 quarterback ever.
After this game, Mahomes joins the list with just 12 other quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowls. Mahomes easily has the best resume of any quarterback in their first 5 seasons. Multiple MVPs, multiple Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowl MVPs. And people will argue whether or not he deserved Super Bowl MVP. There were a lot of other fitting candidates, but in the end, they had to give it to Mahomes. He was surgical tonight. Even though he didn't really have the passing yards, he ran a lot, even on that ankle. And you know what? Before anything else, I just got to say, props to the freaking offensive line, dude. All week we talked about this ferocious Eagles pass rush. They did not sack Mahomes one time. The pass rush was completely silent for Philadelphia. Orlando Brown, after the game, gives a quote, "0 sacks allowed. Put it on a fucking T-shirt." Props to the O-line.
I want to give a little quote. If you guys have heard the song Forever with, Drake, Eminem, Lil Wayne, Kanye, all of the greats, I want to read this quote. "Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, I ain't nothing to play with." Patrick Mahomes, on a high ankle sprain, pulled it out. The Chiefs were down by 10 at halftime, 24-14, and they rallied. The defense was not good tonight. I talked to Josh earlier in the car ride back on my trip to Lawrence. The Chiefs defense was not good. They struggled in this game. But when you have Patrick fucking Mahomes, it doesn't matter. He finds a way to get it done. And the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Nobody can ever take that away from him. And again, it separates him from everybody else. We heard all this season that, Joe Burrow might be better than Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen has taken the step. He's right here. They're on an even playing field. Patrick Mahomes is playing chess, and everybody else is playing checkers.
Michael, can I show you something real quick?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Nobody comes close. Nobody currently playing the game of football right now. Tom Brady's retired. Just remember that. No one comes close to Patrick Mahomes when it comes to his resume, his accolades, his accomplishments. He stands alone right now. And this game was, I can't stress enough how important this game was for his legacy. And I told you this when we were on the phone earlier. I wanted this one more than I wanted the first Super Bowl in Super Bowl 54. And reason being is, even though I told myself I would be satisfied after just winning one, and I just wanted that one as a Chiefs fan, I really wanted the second one more because I didn't want Patrick Mahomes to be 1-2 in Super Bowls. I didn't want to come out of this 5-year run feeling like we underachieved. I didn't want Patrick Mahomes to be that great quarterback that won a Super Bowl, but it's like, man, it's kind of strange that he never won another one like Aaron Rodgers. He won tonight. He joins the list with just 12 other quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowls.
And he set the narrative. He put it to bed that he does not perform in the Super Bowl. And there's going to be people saying that he didn't throw all these passing yards. He was surgical in this game. The Chiefs offense, when they were on the field, I want to point that out. When they were on the field, they were awesome. They weren't on the field that much, but when the Chiefs had their backs
real
against
quick,
go ahead.
What makes what they did even more impressive, because the Eagles won the time of possession battle. But the Chiefs' offense was just so efficient tonight.
And it makes it even more special because everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. The Chiefs did not win the time of possession battle. They could not get off the field defensively. And yet again, the Chiefs found a way to get it done. It didn't matter if the defense, didn't make all the plays in this game. They did just enough. They gave Patrick Mahomes a chance, and that's all he needs. And again, going back to Super Bowl 55, that was our biggest complaint. The offensive line did not give him a chance. They gave him a chance in this game, and we won the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Travis Kelce, 6 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. He did his thing. Michael, we said all week that Travis Kelce was a lock to eat against this Eagles zone defense, and he was getting wide open most of the night, and he really did damage that defense. Juju Smith-Schuster was huge in the third and fourth quarter, 7 receptions for 53 yards, and I know no other receiver really came close in production to those two guys, but everyone did their part tonight. Kadarius Toney, he only had 1 catch, but it was for 5 yards and a touchdown. MVS, he didn't have a single catch tonight, but he was drawing attention from the defense, opening things up for other Chiefs. He was also open a few times that I thought Mahomes could have went to him, but Kelce was also open too. And of course, you're going to throw to Kelce when he's open. Kadarius Toney, the Kansas City Chiefs do not win this game without Kadarius Toney. Andy Reid said that someone this week is going to step up that you don't expect. We both picked Kadarius Toney to be our X factor for this game. He has a touchdown and a massive, massive punt return that actually ended up being the biggest punt return in Super Bowl history. Have a day, Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney was the guy that everybody slept on, and we talked about it. We thought that somebody was going to step up. And I would argue that Juju Smith-Schuster had a hell of a game too. Like, we saw guys that didn't get an opportunity to thrive in that AFC Championship game because they were hurt step up. Sky Moore had a touchdown. Like you said, he didn't have a touchdown all this season, but in the biggest game of his life, he scores what was the go-ahead touchdown at the time?
Yep. Yeah, he did not have a touchdown catch all season. Has one tonight. Crazy. Andy Reid drew up a hell of a game plan down the stretch there.
Andy Reid, I know there's some speculation if this was his last career game. I personally don't think that it is.
He did say, I did search Andy Reid on Twitter, and he said that he was asked basically 100 times this week whether or not that he would retire. And it was no every time until Jay Glazer finally asked him. And he just gave an answer that wasn't no, and Jay Glazer kind of ran with it. Andy Reid says he's good with what he's doing. He's not going anywhere.
I didn't expect him to. And guess what, guys? When you have Patrick Mahomes and you have Andy Reid, you're always going to have a chance. And isn't it so fitting that the franchise that, quote-unquote, could never get over the hump and the coach that could never win the big game finally has 2 against his former team? I bet Philadelphia fans would rather have Andy Reid right now than Nick Sirianni. It's worked out really well. It's worked out. This has been a storybook, man. We're living in a story. What we saw tonight was a chapter in one of the greatest books ever written, and that's the Patrick Mahomes origin story. My friend keeps saying it. He's like, this is his Kobe shit. This is like everything.
This was his I'm him performance.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and I just got a comment rolling in. I want to highlight it. Nick Bolton, MIZ. The Chiefs also do not win this game without Nick Bolton. And yes, he had the touchdown, but also he was flying all around all night, racking up tackles and stopping the Eagles from getting extra yards. He had a few run stops in this game that were very key. He had a third down stop that was also very key in this game. Nick Bolton, man. And if they did not take away that second touchdown that he got, which I believe, I know you said you disagree, I believe Miles Sanders caught the ball, made a football move, and tried to turn upfield. And I thought that was a fumble and a Nick Bolton touchdown, but they overturned it. And ultimately it didn't matter because the Chiefs won anyway.
I don't know if that I understand. If they would have called it a fumble, I would have understood that. But the one thing that I don't understand is how the hell they ruled that Dallas Goedert catch on 3rd and 14 a completion. The guy was bobbling the ball, never really had full control, and when he did, his feet weren't in bounds. So how could you call that a catch? And yeah, I mean, it's obvious that we're not really complaining about it now because we won the damn game, but that could have bit the Chiefs in the ass.
Yeah, I didn't believe it was a complete pass either. And I know a lot of people that aren't Chiefs fans and Eagles fans are going to say refs handed the Chiefs the game with that last call on James Bradbury. But it's worth noting that after the game, James Bradbury admitted straight up, yeah, I held him. It was a penalty. I held him thinking I could get away with it or the refs would let it slide.
All I'm going to say to that, and this is my favorite word, cope.
It doesn't matter, man. Because here's the other thing, too. Even if that wasn't a penalty, the Chiefs kick a field goal, they take the lead, and the Eagles still have less than 2 minutes to put something together. There's no guarantee that they win the Chiefs. I'm sorry, the Chiefs are winning that game no matter what. They just were.
I would have felt a little bit iffy trusting our defense to step up and make a play, but even then, the Eagles did nothing quickly in this game. They used every ounce and every second to drill as much of this clock down as possible. And there's going to be some people out there that say the Chiefs didn't deserve to win this game, and you can have that opinion, but at the end of the day, that opinion's not going to take this ring away. That opinion, hopefully, is not going to take a ring off of my finger. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
They did this for Lenny. This is the Lenny game. Did it for Lenny.
Cry. That's all I can say. Just keep crying. Other offensive notes. Isaiah Pacheco was masterful tonight. 15 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. He always came up with a big run when the Chiefs needed it. And I said this week, leading up to the game, you can run on the Eagles, man. Their run defense is not very good. You can run on them. And every time the Chiefs handed the ball off or ran the ball, they were getting substantial gains. And that's kind of why I was frustrated a little bit in the first half, because I felt like they abandoned the run to try and keep up with the Eagles. And I can understand that, but the run game was working just so well for you. Isaiah Pacheco, again, 5.1 yards per carry tonight. Even Patrick Mahomes, when he ran with the ball, 7.3 yards per carry. Jerick McKinnon was averaging 8.5 yards per carry. This Eagles run defense is not good. You can run on them. I kept saying, run the ball and they will fold. And that's exactly what happened. They stuck with the run in the second half and it ended up paying off.
Isn't it funny how the Chiefs won this game in a retool year, a down year, where they had 8, 9 rookies starting this game? Why don't we play a fun game and we count them off? Isaiah Pacheco, 1. Let's go. I can't really think of any on the offense right now besides Sky Moore. That's 2. Let's go to the defense really quickly. Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Leo Chenal. We've got what?
And he played a lot tonight.
We got 7 right now. We had who else started defensively? That was a rookie.
Karl Loftus. Karl
Loftus. That's 8.
Yeah. It's
incredible. And
MVP curse. Hurt ankle. No one picked us to win. Traded Tyreek Hill. None of it matters. The Chiefs are champions. And like you said, we got 12 draft picks in this upcoming draft. We have a bunch of cap space that we're about to get. The Chiefs are not going away, man. I mean, they weren't really. I was actually, so Jordan Foote, who a lot of you guys know, active on Chiefs Twitter, he tweeted before the game a question: is it considered a failure if the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl this year? Is the 2023 season considered a failure? And I said yes, because anytime you're in the big game, like I know for a long time Chiefs fans played the, oh, no one expected us to be here card, like it was a retooling year. Okay, yeah, but you're in the Super Bowl. Anytime you're in the Super Bowl and you don't win it, yeah, I think it's a failure. Now, I'm not saying anyone should be fired or anything. Like, if you don't win, I mean, winning the Super Bowl is hard. But, yeah, you had the better quarterback. You had the better coach. It would feel like a little bit of a failure if you didn't win. But that doesn't matter. The Chiefs won, and the season's not a failure. But it's still true that no one was really picking us to win. Even pregame, the entire Fox broadcast panel picked the Eagles in a clean sweep.
Yeah. The receipt reading is going to be glorious. It is going to be Bart Scott didn't think we were going to make the goddamn playoffs.
Which is funny because Bart Scott actually picked us to win the Super Bowl.
Listen, I was just scrolling Twitter. Everyone's going crazy. I think it's so incredibly funny that Melvin Gordon got
Melvin Gordon is
a
a Super Bowl
championship.
HFA Recon says Frank Clark didn't get 2 sacks. Yes, that's right. So I do not have to buy Frank Clark's jersey, but I'd like to let you all know I got a Kadarius Toney Super Bowl jersey because Kadarius Toney is my guy. I love that dude, so I got his jersey. But yep, no Frank Clark jersey. Man, what do you say? I mean,
I'm at a loss for words. This postgame show is probably going to be very bad because my brain right now is going a million miles an hour. Everything is just bouncing around. We're going to cover this game the next 2 weeks, making videos consistently, talk about each and every facet of this game. It's a fever dream. Am I awake right now? Like, am I on the right earth? Like, we just won the Super Bowl.
It tastes so sweet. And Mike, I got to ask you, how are you feeling at the end of the first half, man? I got to know. What were your thoughts?
Funny enough, I didn't think the game was over. I was more worried about Mahomes' ankle than anything. If he was out, Chiefs are screwed. We were not going to win that game if Patrick Mahomes was hurt. And
Michael, I got to cut you off real quick. Ed Vogel says hello from Australia. I always shout out people that watch my channel from another country because I think that is the coolest thing ever. So thank you, Ed, for chiming in, and greetings from America. But
cheers, Ed. Cheers. But I was worried a little bit, but man, we've seen this movie. We've seen this exact same thing happen in this game. All I was worried about was, can the Chiefs defense get a stop? Not a bunch of stops, a stop. They didn't get a stop until like the fourth quarter, or maybe it was late in the third, but it was bonkers how the Eagles were able to do whatever they wanted offensively. But again, there was that one crack. There was that one crack in the armor of the Eagles, and it ended up coming back to bite them, and the Chiefs found a way to get it done. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't supremely confident, but again, I've seen this before. I've seen Patrick Mahomes do extraordinary things like it's nothing. And again, we've seen him do miraculous things. That Bengals game was the high ankle sprain game. We're going to look back at Super Bowl 57 20 years from now and say that was the crowning achievement of the greatest player we've ever seen play the game. That was it.
This was the playoff run.
And another thing that I want to point out, Super Bowl teams that were leading by double digits at the half were 26-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're 26-2 now.
The odds were stacked against the Chiefs. The Chiefs won the coin toss tonight, which is not a good sign for Super Bowl winning teams. The odds were stacked against the Chiefs, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter because Patrick Mahomes is an outlier.
Patrick Mahomes is a cheat code. He's like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers had a kid, and it's just what it is. He's got the winning ability and the clutch gene of Tom Brady and the talent of Aaron Rodgers, and you mix it together, and you see this hybrid of a quarterback that is the greatest thing that has ever stepped foot on a football field. He's got 2 rings in his first 5 years as a starter, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Josh, if he keeps this up, there's no telling where he's going to finish his career.
Let me show you a picture that I just think is so badass. And this is created on Twitter by I forget who prior to the Super Bowl. But now it's true, so I can show it. He is the face of this league, and there is no one that comes close. I actually wrote an article for Arrowhead Addict too, and I said if the Chiefs, whoa! Breaking news! Chiefsaholic just tweeted, I got to check this out.
Well, now I got to check it out.
I hope to God you're not trolling Eric. I got to check this out, bro. There's no way this guy tweeted.
Dude, his parlay hit too. I didn't even think about that.
He actually tweeted. He did tweet.
What did he tweet? Hold on. Chiefsaholic.
He tweeted a video.
Oh, I'm not trying to get you copyrighted, but
yeah. Wow. How is he not in jail? That is insane. I just had to stop everything. I had to drop everything I was doing and talking about to go see if that was actually true. Wow. Interesting. Anyway, back to the broadcast. I'm going to have more thoughts on that later, I'm sure. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the first half, I don't think this is a hot take, I felt more hopeless than I did at halftime of Super Bowl 55. And here's why. Even though the Chiefs had no chance in Super Bowl 55 and the offensive line was not going to do enough in pass protection to win that game, at least the Chiefs were getting the opportunities. It felt like in this game with the Eagles winning the time of possession battle by as lopsided of a margin as they did, that we weren't even going to get the chance, and our defense wasn't going to get off the field. The Eagles were going to keep scoring, and it would just be a slow death for the Chiefs. But they completely turned it around. They came out in the second half with that masterful offensive drive to score at the beginning of the second half, and that really lifted them back into this game. Isaiah Pacheco had an energetic run into the end zone for his lone touchdown of the night. And the rest was history after that. And then when the Chiefs went up 35-27, I think it was, I felt like, okay, yeah, we got this, man. Like, we got this. And then the Eagles went down and they scored one more time, and Jalen Hurts got the 2-point conversion, bounced off a hit. And I was like, damn it, dude. Like, they were so close to bringing Jalen Hurts down. But he was able to get in. And I was like, damn. But then Mahomes did his thing. They ran the clock down, penalty on James Bradbury, and the game was over. But I got to say, I know there's going to be conversations this offseason about banning the QB sneak because of how good the Eagles are at it and how unstoppable it is. I don't think they should ban the QB sneak. However, I think what needs to happen is forward progress needs to be stopped a lot freaking sooner, because Jalen Hurts is able to sneak the ball and not get the first down, and then get like 3 or 4 extra seconds of his offensive lineman just pushing him until he gets a first down. And there's nothing you can do to defend that. And that's what makes it so impossible to defend. It's not like they're physically incapable of stopping him, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think they should ban the QB sneak, even though they're going to talk about doing that. But I do think they need to stop forward progress a lot sooner.
It's kind of like you can't pick up a running back and take him 15 yards behind the line of the screen. You know what I mean? Like, there's forward progress. Eventually, you have to blow the whistle, and that's what they just haven't done. I want to read these statistics for you, because you're going to hear these and go, how the hell did they win this game? The Eagles had more first downs, had more total plays, more total yards, more total drives, more total passing yards. Let's see. And they won the time of possession 35 minutes to 24. The Chiefs won this game.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back up in the comments real quick. And real quick, for all those of you watching, we got a nice little crowd in here tonight. I know it's late, but we don't plan on sleeping tonight because the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. But for those of you that are here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. It really helps. If you're feeling generous, you can send a super chat. And if you're in here, hey, man, feel free to go ahead and leave a comment. I'm not going to hit all of them tonight. We'll probably do a Q&A later this week or something, but I'm going to try to hit all the big ones. And I did get this good comment from Jackson. He said, I heard this and I agree with it to an extent. If Chris Jones and Frank Clark were non-factors, we'd lose. And, well, they had 3 combined tackles and no sacks, but we won. That's crazy to me. And I'll tell you, Jackson, if you told me that Chris Jones and Frank Clark would be non-factors in this game beforehand, I would have said, yeah, I think the Chiefs probably lose. But the reason they were able to survive the defensive line having a bad game was because their linebackers were so freaking good and they stepped up tonight. Willie Gay and Nick Bolton were flying around everywhere. gang tackling, getting to the ball. Nick Bolton was an absolute playmaker tonight. He came up with some big stops. He had the touchdown. And I think that made up for the defensive line maybe not having as great of a game as we wished. So props to the linebackers.
The linebackers stepped up, man. Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, what they're able to do just tackling. Their tackling ability is so good. And, I talked with you while I was driving back down to Lawrence. The Chiefs defense wasn't good. You had guys getting exposed left and right. There was 2 big throws, the touchdown to A.J. Brown, and then that one that really should have been a touchdown to Devontae Smith, burned deep. And that was the one criticism that everybody thought the Eagles were going to take advantage of. But it didn't matter. How is this even possible?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. In the secondary, they didn't even have that great of a game either. The secondary, L'Jarius Sneed absolutely lost track of Devontae Smith there in the fourth quarter, and I was like, damn, we're really going to waste everything that we just did to work to get that lead. And Sneed, he lost him, and it was a broken coverage. And that one was a demoralizer. And the secondary was actually allowing a lot of big catches tonight. Now, it never got to a point where the floodgates open and they just couldn't stop the pass. But the Eagles, Dallas Goedert was coming down with all kinds of circus catches tonight. There was a play where Carlos Dunlap was in Jalen Hurts' face. He floats it over Leo Chenal, who's in coverage on Dallas Goedert, and Goddard somehow comes down with it. And then there was, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah, there was the touchdown to A.J. Brown. Trent McDuffie is right there, along with Juan Thornhill. And it's I feel like our defensive backs have zero ball skills. Some of these passes from Jalen Hurts should have been picked off, and they were absolute prayers. But our DBs just have zero ball skills. That and A.J. Brown is just a terrific wide receiver, but
I was also just very impressed with some of the balls that Dallas Goedert caught. First of all, he didn't catch that first one. That was not a catch. But that one that Chenal had his hand in there and he just somehow found a way to corral it. Mm-hmm. Got to give him respect for that. But it's kind of insane how the Chiefs defense cannot play good, give up 35 points, and it doesn't matter. The Chiefs can still win.
I also can't believe Chiefsaholic tweeted. That's insane.
That's earth-shattering. I'm just scrolling on Twitter. I'm looking at stats. I'm sinking it all in. And again, I've probably said this 300 times, but I am going to make a video. We're going to make videos about this all week. We're going to make videos about this for the rest of the offseason because guess what? We've earned that right. Mm-hmm. We're the Super Bowl champions. And we want to talk about this until next Super Bowl. We're going to do that.
And I really wish I was able to go to the parade, man. And for those of you that have the opportunity to go to the parade, go do it, man. Because what I said last time in 54 is I don't know if I'm going to get to do this again. And, of course, I'm not going to be able to do it given that if I was going to go, I would have had to take leave in advance. But I couldn't do that because I didn't know if the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl or not. But if you had the opportunity to go to the parade, go, man, because you don't know the next time this is going to happen. Even though we feel pretty good about the Chiefs' chances of winning another Super Bowl, nothing is guaranteed. So
you never know. And that's why, again, the more reflecting that you do, nothing can take this away now. And something that we've talked about is Patrick Mahomes could retire. And as long as he keeps putting up the stats, which are not going to go anywhere, he's already won as many rings as Peyton Manning. He's already got as many rings as Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers put together. He's a winner. He's a champion, and they can't take that away from him. And the rest of what he does throughout his career, it's gravy. We're just adding on. Again, he does not have to get 7 rings to be the greatest. In my opinion, he is the best football player we have ever seen touch a football field. That's never going to change. This win only further cements that. When the Chiefs were driving in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left in the game, Patrick Mahomes on one leg scrambles and gets 25-something yards downfield? And that play, man, it took guts. You can see as he was getting up, he was holding his ankle. He was grimacing in pain.
Yeah.
but it didn't matter.
I don't think people realized how much pain he was truly in, and that's what makes this run the playoff run, because he was just dealing with so much, and no one was really picking. I mean, people were picking the Jaguars to upset the Chiefs in the divisional round. Everyone was picking the Bengals to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and it seems like nobody was picking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl either. And it didn't matter, because I don't know how many times Patrick Mahomes has to fucking prove to people that he is the GOAT. He is the outlier. He will do whatever it takes to win. And that's, again, I have an article out on Arrowhead Addict, and I encourage you guys to go read it. I think this game should end any comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. There's nobody else that comes close. I'm going to show it one more time. If anyone ever talks about, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, or who, just show them this. None of those guys have anything close. Just look at the trophy case. Look at the trophy case.
Did you know that Patrick Mahomes has more rings than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, really any AFC quarterback that I can think of off the top of my head combined?
Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. So he has the best resume in the league right now. With Tom Brady retired, Mahomes is the face of the – I mean, he was already the face of the league before that. But, I mean, when you're comparing resumes and whatnot, like, nobody comes close to Mahomes right now.
This was a down year. This was a retool year, and the Chiefs won the whole damn thing. What are they going to do with these 12 draft picks? What are they going to do with all this cap space? The Chiefs are a train that keeps chugging down the track, and the Eagles tried to derail that train, and they ended up getting the brunt end of it. So I'm ecstatic, man. Like it hasn't really sunk in yet. I think that once we get those rings in, once we see the parade and all that fun stuff, like we're watching greatness in real time. And that's why it's just, man, it's absurd. It's literally absurd.
People don't realize how much I wanted this second Super Bowl. Like, and it's also because, like, it feels like the first one was so long ago already. It's like, man, I want the second one. I don't want Mahomes to be that guy that only won one when it felt like he could have won more. And he's 2-1 in Super Bowls. He's 3-2 in AFC Championship games. You look at the accolades. We needed this one. Like, I wanted this one so bad, and we got it. And it felt like the Eagles were unstoppable all night. I mean, every single third down, every single fourth down that they went for, it seemed like they were getting it, or third and shorts. I mean, it seems like they were converting for first downs. And that's why I almost felt worse in this one than I did Super Bowl 55. But it didn't matter. And I got to say, and the Eagles are a great opponent. You know, we said coming into this game, the Eagles are a great team, but they played a Mickey Mouse schedule, and the good teams that they did play, their defense got shredded. And look what happened tonight. We put up 38 points. Their defense got shredded. I know one of the touchdowns
our defense
was
did
Nick
too,
Bolton.
but their defense also got shredded. I want to point that out too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the Eagles' offense, like, we knew they were good. The question was about their defense, their secondary. They tore up their secondary tonight, and they ran the ball all over them.
Final stat line doesn't matter. The only important stat is the final score. And, man, honestly, if they would have gave the MVP to Pacheco, I wouldn't have even cared. I think he was so good in this game. But when we watch the NFL films and we watch the highlights back, we're going to look back to when the Chiefs were down 10. And coming out of the half, they needed to score. It was a must-score time for the Chiefs offense. And Mahomes took that team down the field and they scored. And just time and time again, when the margin for error kept shrinking and their backs got even tighter up against the wall, they prevailed and they found a way to get it done. And I think that Jalen Hurts played a great game. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I have so much respect for him. I thought this moment might be too big for him and he didn't, might not know how to react to it, but he was ready for this moment. He looked really good. But, kind of like when Brady went up against Kurt Warner was really good, but he just wasn't Tom Brady. And Jalen Hurts is really good, but he wasn't Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and I thought there. Okay, so when the game started and I saw Jalen Hurts those first couple drives, I realized that the shoulder is healthy. Like there's nothing holding this dude back. I still thought that he threw up a couple prayers, not very good passes that should have been picked off. But again, Chiefs DB's got to work on their ball skills. But for the most part, they held up. And even though Jalen Hurts was great tonight, and if the Eagles had won, he easily would have been Super Bowl MVP. But the Chiefs defense just made enough stops to win this game. And that's all we were really asking for after Bob Sutton got fired is just get a few stops, man, and just not be terrible. And even though the Chiefs, they got gashed tonight, early on,
Who cares?
they tightened up in the end, and they did enough to win this game.
Who cares, man? Like the Eagles played a great game. Chiefs played an even better one. And
also, Steve Spagnuolo, 4-time Super Bowl champion winning defensive coordinator. He is a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator. I've given Spags so much shit on here. And he frustrates the hell out of me, and I'm sure he will next year. But he is a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator.
He has earned his spot. And I don't think that you can really kick him out until he wants to go. Because he's proven it. He's proven that he can win this game. And after Bob Sutton, man, if you would have told me that we got a defensive coordinator that had this pedigree and would take us and this defense to 2 Super Bowl championships, I think I would sign up for that right now.
Absolutely. And, man, I feel so happy for the guys that came here this offseason or, were newly acquired that get to come here and have this kind of success and be able to taste this victory and have this moment. I think of guys like Carlos Dunlap, Justin Reed, Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS. Heck, Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's a Super Bowl champion. But, these guys that have been around for a little bit, some more than others, like Carlos Dunlap. He's been in this league a long time. But guys that, came over from teams that they never won anything or, they never got to win a Super Bowl. They come to the Chiefs and they realize, this organization is different.
The culture of winning prevails. And I think that all the free agents sitting back watching this game were like, whoa, Patrick Mahomes is that guy. And it's going to have that, again, Brady effect. Like people wanted to play for Tom Brady because they knew they had a chance at a ring. The Chiefs have won 2 of these things in the last 5 years. They're only going to get the best free agents. They're only going to get more guys that can contribute to winning. And again, the Chiefs were not the best version. Like the
saw it. We saw it. We talked about that earlier.
The Chiefs could have been better, but it didn't matter. Like there's still improvements to make, but even when they're flawed, they're better than everybody else. And we've talked about it for so long. And this game is just a culmination of all of that. And this one obviously, honestly, it might feel better than the Super Bowl 54 because it just feels like it was redemption. It was a storybook ending to, a book that was long and had a lot of chapters in it, but it really ended on the best note.
What? I'm speechless right now, to be honest.
I'm losing my voice. I watched this game at my grandma's house, and, that's something that I also love about Super Bowls and all the big games is you can spend these moments with your family, or in Josh's case, watching it under your bathroom sink. Yeah. But I think it's so fun to watch these games, form these memories. I'm never going to forget tonight. Tonight has been magical. I could be dreaming right now. I have no clue, but don't wake me up.
And let me say this too. Patrick Mahomes didn't even have a true number 1 wide receiver this year. And just wait until he gets one of those. It's going to be even tougher. I mean, and I don't want to get too much into Chiefs free agents. We'll have all offseason talking about free agency. But I know Juju Smith-Schuster is a big free agent. And I would love to have him back. I know Spot Track, or maybe it was PFF, one of the two, they project Juju Smith-Schuster to get a 3-year, $36 million contract this offseason. I would sign him to that in a heartbeat. That's basically the MVS deal. You're telling me you can get Juju Smith-Schuster back, who would have been a 1,000-yard receiver if not for that concussion on the MVS contract? Yeah, sign me up. Orlando Brown, for all the doubts people had about him, They just won the Super Bowl with Orlando Brown at their left tackle, and he didn't allow a single sack tonight against the best pass rush in the league. Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat and all those guys. It didn't matter. Orlando Brown held up. Pay Orlando Brown what he wants. I don't care.
Winning changes everything. And 2 rings, man. 2 rings. And I said this to you over the phone. This is what makes football the greatest sport in the world. The Kansas City Chiefs, a small franchise in the Midwest, is capable of being a dynasty. That is what sports are about. It's the small stories and how one player can elevate his team and go from, a franchise that couldn't get over the hump in, what was it, 50 years in the Alex Smith era and, all the days that they couldn't win. We've won 2 of the biggest games in franchise history in the last 5 years, and it just seems like they're just getting started.
Yeah, I got a little bit of breaking news, actually, that I just found out on Twitter. Chad Henne posted on Instagram that he is calling it a career, capping it off with a Bud Light and another ring. So happy retirement to Chad Henne, who rides off into the sunset as the Super Bowl champion once again.
2-time Super Bowl champion. And also, we wouldn't have gotten to this moment if he didn't come in against the Jags. So
exactly.
Man.
Calling it a career. Wow.
I'm kind of surprised he made that decision tonight. I would have just been like, I'd be so drunk, man. I would be so inebriated. But I am very sober. So I had to sink it in. And I did not want to forget any of tonight.
Yeah, shout out Chad Henne, though, because, again, like you said, but I really want to hit on it. They do not win the Super Bowl without Chad Henne.
Man. I thought you were going to say Andy Reid retired, and I was going to maybe throw my computer through the wall.
Nah. If Andy Reid did retire, let me just say, I think Matt Nagy would become the head coach.
Oh, let's not even talk about that. Oh, man. Let's soak this in real quick. Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Chiefsaholic comes back from the dead. Chad Henne retires. Mahomes is in the greatest of all time, upper echelon quarterback tier list. Can anything top this night? We're going to find out something like, what are we going to find out next? That the Chiefs are trading for like Aaron Donald or something ridiculous like that? What could be better?
Also, we talked about this on our preview yesterday and the one that we did on your channel too, because I was listening to 610 this past week on Friday, their final show of the week before the Super Bowl. They had Vince Quinn from Philadelphia Sports Radio, who said the Eagles were going to win this game. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts were the better QB duo, that this is going to be the 2020 Super Bowl all over again. He said the Philadelphia Eagles were already getting fitted for their second ring. Well, guess what? The Chiefs are getting fitted for their second ring and the Patrick Mahomes era, and there will now be 3 Lombardi trophies on display in Arrowhead Stadium. So shove it.
Takes that aged like spoiled milk, and we're going to read them back all offseason long. We're going to play the greatest hits.
Michael, he said that this Eagles team was one of the greatest teams of all time, and they didn't even win the Super Bowl.
Usually they don't do that unless you win the whole thing, unless you're like the Patriots back when they went undefeated. But no, Eagles fans, we're never going to think back to your team as an all-time great. We're never even going to think back to your team at all. You're just going to be known as the team that couldn't get it done against Patrick Mahomes. So I hope you enjoy that. And, did you see the Rocky thing where,
they put the jersey on him or whatever?
Funny enough,
it turned out to be an Eagles fan.
It was an Eagles fan. And you know what's funny? It's so fitting that the Chiefs were the underdogs, like Rocky was the underdog, and they won this game. Philadelphia, they weren't the underdog. Everyone expected them to win this game. They were the betting favorite. They were the supposed team it was destiny. They were supposed to win this game, and it didn't come true. Destiny took place tonight, and it didn't go in the Eagles' favor. It was Patrick Mahomes' time. We are watching a guy, and again, you're probably very sick of me saying this by now, but we are watching something take place that is all-time great. It doesn't happen that often. we cannot let this go for granted. Just you got to soak it up because this is greatness. We are watching greatness in real time.
I'm just so happy. Like, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight, and I don't care what happens. Nothing can make me upset. Like, the next several months, like, I don't care. Like, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I feel like I'm on top of the world right now, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same.
And it changes the entire outlook of the offseason because you can do certain things when you win the big game that if you lost this game, you probably couldn't do. But if they want to bring Frank Clark back, bring him back. I don't care. You want to give Chris Jones $200 million? I mean, shoot, give him $200 million. Like what the Chiefs have done tonight will basically bar them from making any quote unquote bad decisions because they won the big game.
I'm almost running out of things to say, not because that there's nothing more to talk about, but just because like I'm speechless almost.
I am too. It is surreal.
We are all Super Bowl champions. Think about that.
Yeah.
And I know. So Chad Henne just retired. I got to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Dunlap called it a career after tonight. But if not, I would love to see him back next year.
Carlos Dunlap is the perfect story. Oh, Chiefsaholic also posted on Instagram, too. The same thing. So he's...
Yeah, crazy. What's up, Aaron? Nice to see you in here, Aaron Morrow. We did it. We sure did do it. We did it. Chiefsaholic is posting on social media, although I did see that I saw on social media that Chiefsaholic put in a request to travel to Arizona for a pre-planned family trip, and he had his request by the judge denied to go to Arizona for the Super Bowl, which is good because we were doing great record-wise when Chiefsaholic wasn't at the games.
So my question, does he get the $90,000? Like, who's going to get that money?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he gets it. I'm pretty sure that's what he used to pay off his bond.
This is a Netflix documentary. That's also happening in real time. So, man.
I also got to – we didn't really bring it up. Travis and Jason Kelsey, really cool moment after the game, that post-game hug. You knew only one of them could win it. Luckily, our guy won it. But, I don't really care about too many guys on the Eagles, but I do feel I'd feel a little bit sorry for Jason. That's tough when you lose one.
It is. And, we've experienced this loss before. And that's why I think that this one they feel special for different reasons, because when they won it back in 2019, it was, their first time getting it done, and it just didn't seem likely. And the fact that they were able to pull it off and win the game, it was just fantastic. But then, when they were able to win it this year, it was getting revenge. It was rewriting the record books, so to speak. And it's just adding to the legacies of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey and Andy Reid. Like, we're really talking about Travis Kelsey as the GOAT tight end here, and I think this Super Bowl only helps him with that case.
Yeah, and Mahomes broke the MVP curse, which I think is nice because I always hated people that brought that up. Oh, the MVP curse. Mahomes won the MVP, so the Chiefs aren't going to win the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, it wouldn't have been because Mahomes lost or won the MVP. It didn't matter, man. The ankle injury, winning MVP, winning the coin toss, that stat about teams that were down by double digits at halftime, none of it mattered.
Can't wait to get fitted for my ring. I'm excited for that. That should be pretty fun. But
I do want to make a correction, though, that Eric said that they broke the Drake curse. The Drake curse actually hasn't existed for a while. I'm pretty sure Drake also bet on the Rams to win last year, and they did. So
Drake's been riding the Chiefs for a long time. He bet on us.
He bet on us in the AFC Championship. Yeah. So I mean that's been gone for a little while now. Oh, I also want to shout out another Mizzou player, Kendall Blanton, tight end that's on the practice squad. This is actually his second Super Bowl in a row. He was on the Rams last year. Actually, I think he played in the Super Bowl. and because all their tight ends were down due to injury. So congrats, Kendall Blanton, on his second straight Super Bowl
for the Chiefs.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you who he is.
Yeah, he was a tight end at Mizzou, and he's kind of bounced around practice squads, stuck around with the Rams a little bit, won a Super Bowl last year with the Rams, and Chiefs picked him up this year, and he's been on the practice squad, and he just won another Super Bowl. So that's cool.
What a gutsy win, man. I'm looking at the pictures right now. Mahomes was laying down on the ground,
grimacing
in pain and limping, and that was what concerned me. Like, I'm looking at a picture right now of him sitting on the sideline screaming in pain. And okay, have you seen the meme where it was like it's like Brady sitting down on the sidelines, just waiting to go in? Patrick Mahomes now has that with sitting on the sideline in pain.
Yeah, I also want to point out, so we talked about, unlikely heroes and stuff tonight and people stepping up and how Sky Moore had a touchdown despite not having one throughout the entire regular season. Lucas Niang was also blocking on that play at right tackle. Lucas Niang, I'm not sure Lucas Niang has played all year, but was in to block on that play. So, everyone got in tonight. Yeah.
Wait, on which play again? Sorry, say that again.
The Sky Moore touchdown. Lucas Niang was at right tackle.
Really?
Yep. Andy was in his bag, man. With the Tony touchdown, the Sky touchdown. Juju had a great game. I mean,
champs, man. We're the champs.
Jerick McKinnon with a smart play, getting to the 1 yard line and sliding down.
So smart, so incredibly smart. And
you knew because I was in my group chat with my friends during the game, and I was like, hey, if we get a first down, since the Eagles only have 2 timeouts left, if we get a first down, we can run down the clock, and this thing's basically over. And then we didn't get the first down on 3rd and 8, but then there was the holding on James Bradbury, and
it was holding, guys.
It was holding. He admitted it himself. He said it was a penalty, and he held him. And you know what? Carl Sheffers had been effing the Chiefs all season, so I don't want to hear Carl Sheffers is for the Chiefs or whatever. Carl Sheffers is awful. He was bad on both sides tonight, really. Lane Johnson, the Eagles' right tackle, was full starting in every damn play, and they weren't calling it. Jason Kelce tackled Trent McDuffie 8 yards downfield. That was legal. So I don't want to hear about the officiating, dude. Eagles had their chance. They were up double digits at halftime. It's Mahomes, man. You couldn't stop him.
It's the Patrick Mahomes effect, man. It's crazy how hard it is to win this game, and the Chiefs have made it look easy in the past 2 times they've won it.
Their offensive explosions are just insane.
It's unlike anything we've ever seen.
I gotta ask you, are you gonna buy a bunch of Super Bowl merch? If so, what are you gonna get? The hat. I really like the hat.
I'm kicking myself for not getting a hoodie the last time they won it. I'm gonna get a hoodie. I'm gonna get probably a hat. I'm gonna use my employee discount to my advantage, and try to rack up as much. If I have to spend $400 on Super Bowl merch, that's what I'm gonna do.
I've spent a couple hundred already. Used my military discount on Fanatics, so I'm chilling.
Yeah,
but you know what? I think this is a good stopping point, though. I think we covered almost everything about this game. We'll have a lot more this week. I'm sure there will be a lot more after this game. The players are still celebrating and everything. I'm sure we'll get a lot more interesting sound bites and some news and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night, Michael and I. But before we do that, Michael, where can the fans find you?
You guys can find me on Cloud9, but no, you guys can find me on YouTube, KC Sports Report. The website, kcsportsreport.com. Man, we're going to be talking about this game all off season long, and more specifically in the next couple days, but we're champions, baby. We are on top of the world, and Patrick Mahomes is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and the Chiefs have won 2 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. Wild.
Yep.
Wild.
Chiefs Kingdom, you are champions. We're all champions. That's all I got. Before I go, though, make sure you check out all Michael's stuff. I already have his channel linked in the description. As far as my channel, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure to check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And we will see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!